Okay, talk a bit more here, okay? I don't believe people has ever been crucified without hating and blaming themselves. So everyone that is put on some kind of scapegoating position, um, I guess, except for Jesus, right? That's the code of the story, right? The story is Jesus was perfect, blah blah, right? Maybe that's how it was. I don't know. I didn't live then. What I can tell you is that there is magic in this. There is a mimetic build up of energy here, and the people that was scapegoated, they were they hated themselves, they hated things of their own, and they smeared things, of course. When you have to remember that when you follow truth, you become different, and when you're different, you hate things. Also, when you discover truth, you find things to blame. If you don't discover truth, you find nothing to blame, right? You live in your la la land, right? You live in the little la la land of where everything is just right. I don't know, right? So, but um, so yeah, so my statement is like this: people have hated basically like all the martyrs except for Jesus, right? As I said. So, but I've done some bad things, guys. I've done some I've done some I've done some powerful stuff. I I have spoken, and people have um, uh, yeah, I just speak, and things have died from that, like quite a lot. And there is a lot of I can prove it, and there's a lot of videos about that. For example, I spoke monkeypox into existence, like the pandemic. We had the corona, the sun. So I was thinking, oh, the moon. We had the sun, so we're going to have the moon. And then I started talking about the moon key and things like that, and I already was intertwined with the fractal of reality, so I had influence. I have influence to do things like that when I uh, write. When I yeah. So I have. I promise you guys, I have. I call it metaphysical blood on my hands. Okay, I speak, and things have happened. So yeah, metaphysical blood on the hands. Here I am. I'm not crucified. I'm a living example of what I'm talking about. Um, I don't hate. I don't blame. And so I cannot be crucified. It's not allowed. Take me as an example. I am an example of this. Okay? I am a living example of this. I used to hate. I used to blame. I used to do these things. I don't. I don't any longer. I don't hate companies. I'm very I'm very cautious about blame and hate. I don't hate any companies. I don't hate governments. I don't hate banks. I don't hate politicians. I don't hate anything. And that's my strength. It's my way to protect myself. And yeah, this is how I discovered this theory. It didn't come from nowhere. My thoughts didn't come from nowhere. It has an origin. Okay. And so, um, yeah, and I guess when I talk like I do now, it is a perfect time to feel some amnesia, as I said before, because all of you guys that's been with me here for a long time, you already know about what I'm talking about. You already know what I have done. You know what I have done. But but it's so it feels good to forget some things. It feels good not to see, not to hear, not to see, and so you kind of take the pleasant feeling of not seeing a few things. Okay, so yeah. And maybe you ask me, why do I do what I do? Like, why do I do things that create destruction, which I've done? I don't do it that much any longer. I'm, uh, um, I don't know. I focus more on philosophy and you know, it was, yeah, the Philosopher's Stone, the lime stuff, these things. I talk about these things. I think about these things, and so I get distracted from doing other things. Right? That's good. Um. So, but scapegoating, yeah. So yeah, you're not allowed to for this to work, for you to master this thing of not blaming. You are forced not to even see yourself as like being male itself is not good to feel too much. If you feel too much like a man, you're going to like not really be able to have compassion with a woman, right? It's hard to have compassion with something else, and you will maybe not intentionally mistreat those that are different. And here's the thing: are you interested in the ability to express truth and go unpunished for it? Well, if that's not your goal, then you don't have to burden yourself with not blaming, right? It's because blaming, I don't know actually. I don't know actually. Blaming is not good to do, right? Blaming is not good to do, definitely. So I would recommend not to hate, like uh, like the idea of governments is something that we all should think about, that it doesn't exist at all, right? And almost like, if you can, companies doesn't exist. Like it's only people that you have to deal with. And then you meet suddenly you meet someone which is treating you unfairly, and when you see that person, it's not the uniform of that person. Often people get hung up on the uniform that it carries, but the uniform is simply a scapegoat in itself. So someone working in the military, for example, or the police, or anywhere. Like it could be any uniform. All uniforms are there as scapegoats for the person that works. A scapegoat for many, okay? It's a scapegoat both for those that work, because they can imagine that their own sins are not their own. They can put it on the uniform. So you put your sins on the uniform, and the people that are treated badly, they will hate the uniform and not the person doing the sinning. Okay, so what you do is that you bring forth, like, you really try not to hate and blame, and you do this continuously, and you really are cautious about not hating companies, not hating politicians, and things like that. And yeah, and politicians are also far away from you, right? They don't really, a politician doesn't affect you, right? So what you're doing is that you're not wasting any energy on things that are far away, basically. And when you meet someone, when you meet someone, you really know that this is not a uniform. Imagine that it has no uniform. It has no uniform on it. It doesn't represent any company. This is a person coming to you and interacting with you. And what it does is it's sin. Okay? And then it becomes like, maybe that's the curse, right? Because your eyes will witness, you are the witness, and you are not the martyr. You know, martyr means witness, right? Martyr means to witness. So you use your martyrdom not to be crucified, but to witness someone else instead, right? And then divine punishment. Okay, no, but seriously, it's almost like that, right? It's almost like that. It's like something is watching. It sees that you are trying, you're doing your freaking best, and then you see with your eyes that this is not a uniform. This is someone. You see how it looks. You see that this is a person here, and it's doing this to me, and then divine punishment. Seriously, guys. Yes. Um, and uh, that's how simple it is. Okay. Truth has to win. Don't forget. Truth has to be strong. Truth has to win. You don't want denial to win. Something has to go insane. Something has to break. The truth shouldn't break. The truth must win. And the lies must be crushed. The lies must lose. The the denial must be destroyed. You see? And um, I know it feels good. Like people, some, as I said, you have amnesia. Some people here, like I have some subscribers. You forget, okay? You forget what's happened here on my channel. You forget what I've done, and um, I'm not crucified. I can tell you that. But when it comes to like yeah, so but be really careful so that you don't blame anything. It's a really good advice that I have for you. Don't blame. But it's hard, right? You have to realize that the hate gets absorbed into Jesus, right? The Jesus. Right, right, right. You know, the murderer is called Barabbas. Barabbas, right? Barabbas. But, and so people usually say that, oh, they they picked Barabbas over Jesus, right? That's what people say. Barabbas, the murderer. What they don't know is that Barabbas means son of the father in Aramaic. So, so this is again a riddle. People hate Barabbas. Even Christians today, they see this murderer and they think a murderer, Barabbas, he he was Barabbas was so horrible, right? Barabbas was so horrible. But Barabbas means son of the father, and Jesus spoke Aramaic, right? He spoke Aramaic. So so it's a trick here again, a little trick. A little trick. So yeah. So when you hear the word Barabbas, you think about a murderer. You think about the devil, basically. This is the blame. It's part of the blaming. It's part of the black painting. It's part of your lesson that will make you cry. That everything you hate is connected to that. Even the Rothschild, right? The Rothschild, the red shield, which is connected to Jesus actually. Again, it's connected to Jesus. Yeah. And why do you hate the Jews, right? Why do people hate Jews, right? They hate it because it's another scapegoat again. It's a scapegoat. I know that they are overrepresented in some things, right? In politics, they have high linguistic IQ. Okay, I learned these things. When you learn truth, you have to fight the blame, right? You have to realize that there is a blame to fight here because you don't want to go there, which all of us did. So the high linguistic IQ will um, pull them to certain positions in society, right? That's just how it is. Okay. So yeah, um, I think this is all. Okay. So see you guys. Bye bye. Bye.